Fire alarm to EMS 1. EMS 1 response. Arm pain from an assault victim. PD's on scene. 2109.
Sergeant Passenti, it's Lee again. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right. I just wanted to call to let you know there's someone named Carlos Adrian Ingram Lopez. He is deceased. He's from Tucson, Arizona. And unfortunately, the way that he went about dying is the way that your officers interacted with me. And I wanted to let you know just how concerning this situation is because
Okay.
you could have November 11th come to arrest me and November 12th been going to my parents in Passaic and knocking on the door. I want to let you know that I watched the video of Carlos Adrian Ingram Lopez in Tucson. He was restrained and his back was crushed because he was vocalizing distress, and
Okay.
therefore they tried to subdue him by placing pressure on his upper back with their knees. So
Okay.
the only reason I was not killed or not, like, brain dead by your officers is because I made a choice to save my life, to be completely limp, completely silent, as soon as they
Have you
continued to
spoken to
escalate.
internal affairs, man?
Your internal affairs, I'm sure you're aware of. Lieutenant Kelly has retired, correct?
No. He was removed. But there is a Lieutenant Scardigno, um,
Oh,
that has taken over.
what's the reason that Lieutenant Kelly was removed?
I can't give you that reason.
I'm sure it's
Um,
public information because it's got to be public records.
it was an internal move that he wanted to just move to patrol. I guess he had enough. I can't tell you why he did it. I'm not Lieutenant Kelly.
Oh, my understanding was that he finished his 25 years.
No, he's going to be finishing his 25 years shortly.
Oh, okay. So he's still okay. So, I don't know what motivated his move to patrol. I did speak to him during watch command, in I think June 8th, like sometime
Okay.
around then. Um, you know as well as I do that internal affairs is useless for citizens, and if anything, would you be able to tell me? I would like the disciplinary records of all internal affairs complaints, and I have a list of officers' names. How would I go about getting that public record?
Probably OPA requests is uh your best bet. You have to file an OPA request with the city of Clifton, and they can get you those records. Whatever is allowed to be given or not, that goes to the legal department, and then the legal department then will give you the proper OPA.
Uh-huh. So who
Whether
do
it
I
be
call to say I don't know how Oprah requests work? Can you teach me how to make an
City of
Oprah?
Clifton, the city of Clifton has a website
Mm-hmm.
now, and in the website it should say, I'm almost positive it says OPA request, and then you fill it out properly with your name and number, and then people get back to you. It's the Open Public Records Act, okay? So when you request it, that's all secured to the city, and then the city will let you know what exactly you're allowed to have and what you're not allowed to have under the
Mm-hmm.
law of Oprah.
Okay.
Now you could go on. You could go. It's called OPRAH. And you could go under that law on any computer, and it'll show you exactly what you're entitled to and what you're not entitled to. Because there's some certain things that have to be redacted out of an Oprah request,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why the attorneys get involved.
Right. And do you understand
The city's attorneys, not us,
the
not me.
Attorney General of the state of New Jersey is working to open up officers' disciplinary records to the public to remove
Yeah,
a lot of the
I'm very
blockages?
happy with that. I have no problem with that.
I would be very happy with that as well, because it's unacceptable to pay taxes and not be able to walk in City Hall and say, I want to know if this officer has been complained about for demeanor issues, for violence issues, for, let's say, and there's an officer who gives seatbelt tickets and never wears a seatbelt himself. That's just hypocritical. Like, we should be able to address our grievances without being blocked by, and if you're not just saying, if you really are on board with it, then
Listen, I'm here 23 years. I haven't had a complaint yet. So I know I do my job properly. I don't know
mhm
what everybody else is, but if you worry about yourself and not worry about everybody else, you'll make it through your career. So
mhm okay. So, just to review departmental policies, I would also like to request a I don't know, like, let's say when you train your officers medically, is there like a book, a guidebook, or a workbook, or like a curriculum that they get, like, that's written on paper that they're each given?
these are all things that you need to discuss with either training and or um, internal affairs. What is allowed or what is not allowed. Most things are done now through computers.
Okay,
Um,
well, my understanding is, like, if I speak to a public official and I request public records, then I can ask you to forward the request to the custodian of those records. So may I ask you to take down my contact information, put in a request for me to get the training manual for mental
well, no,
health
that goes
first
through
aid?
Oprah, ma'am. I can't do any of that. I have no authorization to do that. That's why I said you're better off talking to the internal affairs, Lieutenant Scardigno, and or the city's Oprah request.
Okay, and Scardigno, is that like
C A
CASCAR?
R D
Uh-huh.
CARDIGNO, and I could give you his direct line.
Yes, I
He'll
would
be in
like
Monday
his.
morning.
Okay, he's back Monday morning. What's his direct
Yeah,
line?
today's Saturday. It's 973
Mhm.
470
Mhm.
2009.
2009.
Yeah, he's the head of internal affairs now, and you can request all that stuff through him.
Okay.
And I recommend on Saturday, because it's Saturday, I would go on to the city's Oprah request,
Mhm.
and if you're looking for specific things, you can fill it out, and so they can get the ball rolling also.
Okay, and to advocate for accessibility for all citizens, that's one thing I want to do on this call. How do you accommodate citizens who don't have a computer who want to get information? What do they do?
That's why I said you call internal affairs, and he can help you out and direct you properly.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
You could also call our records division,
Mhm.
which is on our website, and or the city's record division, and then request through a phone call the Oprah, and they could determine how the proper procedures are now with COVID. I
Okay.
know sometimes they don't let people come in, so I don't. I think the accommodation would be through phone, and they could probably give you better direction that way.
Okay. And I'm curious, are you concerned that I have a witness from the evening of November 11th who
Am I concerned?
was afraid that my life would be medically changed forever because of your officer's physical actions? Is that concerning?
Ma'am, I have again. I wasn't there. I have
I'm
no idea what
telling you,
you're
I
talking
have a
about.
witness who's going to
Okay,
be
that's fine.
taking
So if
this
you have a witness,
further.
that's what I'm asking. If you talk to internal affairs yet, because I'm giving you the
Yes,
opportunity,
yes, please.
I can make a report with
Please,
the internal affairs.
please let me tell you, Detective Eckert investigated it, spoke to her, confirmed with her that policy was broken, and then sent me a letter that no wrongdoing was founded. So I understand exactly how your department handles internal affairs. I know Lieutenant Kelly was there at that time in internal affairs. I don't have any more comment. Again, I'm not in your building. I'm not sitting in that office. I'm not seeing and hearing what they say when they review these cases, but they did, if anything, a cursory glance at my complaint before throwing it in the trash bin. There is nothing to indicate that they did anything to put in any effort to discover what happened that night. They did not collect evidence or information of what really happened. They did not call all the witnesses that were there. They did not speak to me to follow up, to ask any follow up questions. They simply gave me a message through their actions that they're not really gonna think about if I was hurt or not. They're just gonna tell me nothing was done wrong. And that's why I'm not going through your department anymore. I'm just calling when I have concerns to say one of my main concerns today is what's going on with your patrol officers when you're sitting at watch command. And I'm not calling you to blame you, and I'm not calling you to say there's something specific that happened, but how much are you aware of the words that come out of your officer's mouth and the directions their hands and their feet and their fists and their palms are going?
As I sit here, I expect my officers to be nothing but professional. And if there's ever a complaint on the street, that they can have no problem coming to me, and I will direct them to the proper procedure, or I will take a complaint from any citizen at any time. So,
Mm-hmm. So what concrete can you tell me, sir? I have a question.
My professional officers are very professional. My professional officers are very professional. My professional officers are very professional. So what has happened in the past, or if anything did happen in the past, and I'm not aware of, I have no idea.
Right. So basically what you're telling me is you don't even want to find out more and correct the behavior, because what you're doing is you're shutting down any.
We correct it. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna get a little upset because you don't tell me how I conduct my men. Okay.
I'm telling you what they did to me.
Or any of my officers see a problem, we are expected to stop and correct that problem immediately.
I'm asking you what was done to correct the problem of your officers potentially taking my life on November 11th, 2019.
If I wasn't there,
then you would ask me follow-up questions. You would tell me I'm concerned that your life was in danger. Let me find out what I can do, because you're telling me you're sure. Listen, you are interrupting me. You are interrupting me. You're not in charge of me. You don't control me. I'm a citizen. I'm trying to make a complaint, and you're cutting off my freedom of speech.
And I'm trying to explain to you.
I don't want your explanations. I want to give you information. I don't want to hear explanations. I will hear your explanations after I'm done giving you the information. So if you would please listen, sir, respectfully, I am telling you that I am asking you what would you do. I'm a citizen saying that at a time when you were not present and you were not a witness, there was misconduct. Now, if you're concerned that if you're certain that your officers always conduct themselves well, and now I'm giving you new information, then your concern, I imagine, would be that you're going to say, wow, I want to know the citizen's full complaint so that I can address it with the officers involved, because I want to make sure that we're not getting a lawsuit of a person dying in custody from officers restraining them while they're having a psychiatric emergency. So I'm helping you by calling you and saying I'm trying to prevent you from facing what the police officers in Tucson are facing for Carlos Adrian Ingram Lopez. And by the way, in Minnesota, George Floyd was saying, I'm having a panic attack, I'm claustrophobic, I have PTSD from being shot, and the officers, again, restrained him till he couldn't breathe. So I'm explaining to you that, Clifton, I don't want it to be next. I've witnessed your officers, and I'm calling you as a witness. You're telling me my testimony is not true because Internal Affairs never investigated it, but still doesn't think that the officers did something wrong. I'm calling you to tell you your officers did something wrong. And I'm asking you, how are you going to handle it? Because you can look for evidence and not just believe me based on my words. I have evidence for you. Would you like to correct their behavior?
And I specifically said, contact Internal Affairs because there's a complaint already taken, and show them the evidence. I have nothing to do with Internal Affairs, ma'am. I can take the complaint right now. I can write it all down and send it back up to them. I can do it right now over the phone.
Please. I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me know what you need in order to get that done. Thank you.
Oh, ma'am?
Yes, thank you, Sergeant.
Okay. You ready?
Yes. On the night of November 11th.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I
Okay.
gotta go through this whole procedure, so.
Oh, okay.
Bear with me.
That would be great. I would love a thorough procedure. Thank you. I would like to file a criminal complaint.
Well, that's you're gonna have to do differently. This is an internal affairs complaint. Okay.
Okay,
So
who do I speak to with the
internal affairs
criminal?
criminal complaint, you have to speak to Violations Bureau.
And
Do it that
that's
way.
in the Clifton Municipal, the upstairs.
Your
Okay,
full
so
name, ma'am?
okay, I am going to submit it. Leah, Lea.
Okay. Address?
The address, I am going to say this. The complaint happened at this
No, I need
address.
your address.
I am certain that you do not need me to give an address. And again, I'm not being
You don't.
difficult. I'm not being
That's
difficult.
fine.
I
No,
am
I
not
just put
breaking a
refused.
law.
That's fine. I just could put refused. That's all, ma'am. I'm
Thank
going
you.
through. I have a proper procedure that I need to follow. I have to ask you these
I
questions.
appreciate
If
it.
you refuse to answer, that's fine. But
Thank
just
you.
say you don't want to. You don't have to start yelling at me. You have an email?
Refuse.
Refused. Okay.
That's all. I just need to know what to tell you.
Date of birth?
Refuse.
Refused. Okay. Do you have a name of the officers?
I would like to request a roster of every officer that showed up at
Okay.
Clifton Avenue on November 11th,
All right.
2019.
Well, we can't do that right now. Okay. You gotta listen to me. Okay. Honestly. Because
Yes.
if you don't know the officers' names, I got to put that in the report. So
Okay.
at this point, if you don't know the officers' names, I got to put unknown.
Okay. I will write I am aware of an officer named Huey Chen. I am aware that he was partnered with someone, unknown name.
Okay.
Okay.
Hugh Chen and I'm gonna put and unknown.
Right, but they were partnered, so they should have been yeah. Then
That's fine.
there were many more officers, I don't know, but one of them had the name Lawson, Lawson.
Partner
And an unknown other number of officers.
okay. Now, where did the location take place?
It was
Okay. Do you have a date and time?
November 11th, 2019. There were multiple 911 calls and multiple responses.
No, that's fine. Now, what I'm gonna do here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so listen up. So, I have to describe the incident, whether it was and any information about the alleged conduct. If we cannot, feel free to use extra crazy if you know the officer's name. If we don't know the officer's name or badge number, provide any other identifying information. So start with what you.
Okay. The Hu Chen's partner was a Latino man.
No, I don't care. No.
What do you mean?
I want to know about the incident first.
Okay. Do you want to know what happened?
Yes, that's what I need to know. I need to know your complaint so I can put this in.
Yes, sir. Okay. I was in my basement.
Right.
A 911 call was issued to come to my house by Vanya Gerard.
Hold on. I gotta type. So.
I got you. No problem.
Her basement and a 911 call was issued by who?
Vanya, Vannia.
Okay.
All right. And I don't know what the complaint was, right? I haven't heard the call. All I know is that officers arrived twice. The first time I had no contact. The second time I was in the basement behind a door. Hu Chen pushed the door open, to look for me because I don't know what information he had other than there's a warrant for an arrest and he had probably my picture and name. So he grabbed me and tried to get me to move out of that room with the door in the basement into the main basement towards the stairs going up to the outdoors. And basically, I guess I kind of dragged my feet a few feet with him before I sat down on the floor. I was already cuffed. I just sat down, and while I was sitting on the floor, three people in the house came downstairs and witnessed. I have their names.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready for the witness names.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm doing my best here. You gotta give me a minute.
Absolutely. I have time and patience, and I want this to be honestly a pleasant experience. I don't want you to feel any kind of upset. I'm trying to help you too.
Let me ask you a question, Leah.
Mhm.
Do you by any chance have this written down on an email that you could email me privately?
I'm so sorry, I don't, but it's not that long. And also, if you have like a voice recorder, you could just record me on the phone, right?
All right. Now you know what? I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to write it longhand. The computer's not letting me type for some reason.
Well, technology sucks. That's basically what it comes down to. It always has a mind of its own. All right, yeah, I mean, I think this is time well spent between me and you because you do say that you're very concerned to know your officers' conduct when they're on calls. And this is exactly what we need to do to make sure that the citizens and the watch commanders are on the same page, that the patrol people are doing their jobs correctly. So I'm with you to improve the department. That's what I want.
When? Let me ask you a question. When was this reported previously? In November?
I don't know. It was sometime between November and I guess 6 months. Like this is something that's taken up so much of my time in my mind. I've had so many flashbacks from I have a panic disorder, I have PTSD, which means the way my body processes new scary traumatic events is by continuing flashbacks of those events. That's just how my body and my mind is trained. So being
This is what I'm gonna do.
yes.
Instead of writing it on this, I'm gonna attach it. I'm gonna do it on a Word file,
Okay.
and this way here, I'll attach it that way.
Okay.
This is not letting me do what I want to do here.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Computers don't always function correctly. If you need more tax dollars to go to your technology, I mean, I'll talk to the people and I'll I'll work on that. I just want our community to run well. So if your computers aren't working and our tax dollars are going to people buying Versace, well, we gotta fix that. Make sure you get a good computer.
On November,
Mm-hmm.
what was the date again?
November 11th, 2019, in the evening after
2019.
dark. Yeah, it was after dark. Um,
Okay, so it was on the evening of November 11th, 2019.
mm-hmm.
Two 911 phone calls were made by, what was her name?
Vania, Vannia.
Vanya G.
Right, and I assume the call was that she had signed a restraining order stating that she's afraid for her life if she would see me.
Okay.
So that's
Okay,
basically the
hold on.
allegation.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you assume, you said I assume that the call
Mm-hmm.
was made for a prior restraining order?
Correct.
Prior restraining order, and she felt fear for her life?
Well, that's what she signs on the restraining order, you know.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
asking.
yeah, yeah, I'm
I'm
assuming.
So and this is you stating to me, I assume that the call was made for a prior restraining order. She claimed that she was in fear for her life.
Yes, by my presence in the house, yeah.
Was in, okay, fear for her life by my presence in the house. Okay. So now let's go to the next step.
Okay. Hu Chen found me in the basement behind a closed door.
Okay, Hu Chen found you're the complainant. Okay?
Okay.
In the basement behind a closed
Door.
right.
He pushed the door open, touching my body, and then brought me.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Found me in the basement behind a closed door. He pushed the door open and found.
Yeah, he pushed basically the door open into my body and pulled me out of the room and handcuffed me.
Okay, pushed the door open into my body and pulled you out of the room?
Mm-hmm.
Pulled me out of the room and handcuffed.
My hands behind my back.
Handcuffed my hands behind my back. Okay.
Yeah. I sat down on the floor and stopped talking.
Sat down on the floor and stopped talking. Okay.
At that time, 3 people from 3 of the house residents entered the basement.
3 house members or
Yeah, three of the second floor residents came down to the basement.
Second floor residents came.
Fucking this. He hung up for those listening to the recording. He's having a hard time typing and staying on the phone at the same time. So I'm trying to help him out here. We're at 32 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm gonna let him finish typing whatever sentence he's in the middle of, and I'll let him call me back.